Hey guys, this is probably going to be a bit of a rambly video, but today I just want to talk about my journey so far in Archeage Unchained, the highs, the lows, a few observations that I have about the community, as well as just generally talking about the game and why recently I've been having an absolute fucking blast playing the game, as opposed to a week or two ago where I was starting to feel quite burnt out by it. Before we start though, yes, I'm going to make an endgame guide eventually, and yes, I'm going to make a full review for the game. I just want to fully learn all of the systems before I really jump into that, because recently I've been learning so much about the game, so many different things that I wasn't aware of. So many different ways to have fun in the game that I think if I jump too fast on making those videos, then they're not going to be as good as they could be. But yeah, let's talk about my journey with Archeage Unchained so far. So basically, I came into this game, like most people, as a brand new player essentially. Yeah, I did a first impressions on Archeage a few years ago, but honestly that scratched the surface of the game, and I didn't really know much about how any of the end game systems worked or anything, so yeah, coming into the game as a new player, I didn't really do a whole lot of PTR testing either. I didn't have time because I was kind of traveling around. So by the time launch day came, very unprepared, didn't really know what I was doing, had a vague idea of the class that I wanted to play. I did manage to join a guild of fairly experienced players, but honestly my game knowledge was pretty bad and I was too busy streaming to really spend a lot of time in the team speak with them. But initially I decided I'd roll on the East faction and I'd be playing a Warborn Spellsinger. That was the initial plan. And straight away I made my first mistake of deciding to play on the EU server called Alexander. Why was this a mistake? Well, this was the server that pretty much every ex-Archeage player, all the experienced players, the veterans, the hardcore players, this was the server that they had all agreed to play on. This was the server that had 4 to 5 hour queue times at peak. So if I disconnected during my stream at peak times, GG, that's the end of the stream. In addition to this, I also underestimated how hardcore I would be playing this game. Like a few years ago, yeah, I could play an MMO for 12, 16 hours a day. Now, I can't really do that. I think like 6 to 8 hours is fine. I can do that. 6 to 8 hours a day, but anything more, I don't know, I start to struggle. I start to want to go outside, get some fresh air, and do something other than gaming. So, not really the hardcore MMO player that I used to be, and I've joined a hardcore guild. I'm on the hardcore server. Everything's fucking hardcore. Initially, jumped into the leveling, was having a decent time. Managed to level my way to 55, eventually Ancestral level 2. Got myself some land on Diamond Shores during the land rush, and I was having a pretty decent time, honestly. Like, the whole leveling process, yeah, it's pretty fucking shit in this game. It's quite repetitive, but it was the first time I'd gone through it, so it wasn't too bad. The problems for me started when I got to the end game, because I didn't really have a great understanding of Archeage's core systems. People just told me, you need to do these dailies, and they basically gave me a big fucking laundry list of dailies, and in addition to this, at launch we had the Arc Pass, which thankfully, as of making this video, is disabled and going through a big rework. I made a video about it, like, complaining about how bad it was. I think they disabled it, like, a day or two after. Not because of the video I made, but because they was actually listening to the community. Basically, I'm at endgame, I'm doing my Haram dailies, I'm doing my Arc Pass as much as I can, and I'm doing my Crimson Rift dailies, I'm doing my the nighttime version of Crimson Rift dailies, and it's just fucking DailyAge. It's like 5 or 6 hours of dailies every day, and it's like the same thing every day. Not really doing any fun guild events. Everyone's just kind of working on getting gear, and because I don't really understand the systems of the game, because I'm a new player, I'm feeling this big pressure to keep up with these players who have been playing the game for a long period of time. Realistically, that was never going to happen. I didn't know how to make money, and if you don't know how to make money, you're not going to be upgrading your gear very quickly. Eventually, after about a week or 10 days, I started to feel really burnt out with Archeage, and eventually I realised that I'd just taken the completely wrong approach to this game. I had the wrong mindset coming into Archeage Unchained from day one. I didn't take into consideration my situation when I can play the game, how hardcore I am, and instead I just did that natural gamer thing of only doing what's optimal, not doing what's fun, and basically trying to be ultra competitive when in reality I didn't really stand a chance of doing that. Eventually I learned that the guild I was in a few years ago in Black Desert, Leviathan, had came over to Archeage Unchained, and they were playing on a different server called Belstrom. I was playing East and they were playing West. So the problem with this was I couldn't even stay on Alexander and wait for a server transfer because I can't change faction. Like, there's no way of doing that. My only real choice after about 10 days in was to just bite the bullet and just change server, completely start again, level from 1 to 55 all over again, and not have any land. And that's what I decided to do in the end. I weighed up the pros and cons and I thought, even if I do stay on Alexander with all this progress, what's the point if I don't have people that I enjoy playing with on that server? So I did the whole leveling process all over again. 1 to 45 I was leveling as melee, then I did a bit of PvP as Dark Runner, and I didn't really like how the CC felt. So at level 45 I re-rolled again to a healer. I've re-rolled 3 times in this game in total. I re-rolled from Spellsinger to Cleric at level 50 on Alexander. Then I re-rolled Server, re-rolling to Dark Runner. Then at 45 I re-roll from Dark Runner to Edgewalker, which is another healing class, and thankfully I'm really enjoying it. I can't really play any mad DPS classes in this game because my ping from Thailand with exit lag is 180 ms, which as a healer feels absolutely fine in Archeage. But yeah, eventually I get to max level again on Belstrom. I've got people to talk to in the Discord now, which is good, and I start doing the same daily routine that I was doing on Alexander. And sure enough, I started to get that same itching feeling in the back of my mind that I don't think I can really keep up doing this every single day. It's kind of boring, the whole daily routine. This was when the Arc Pass was disabled as well, by the way. I really do believe that in Archeage Unchained, there is a lot of dailies. And for a sandbox game, it really does take away from the enjoyment of the game, having to do so many dailies every day. So what I decided to do, one day, I just said, fuck it, I'm not going to do any daily quest. I am not going to play the game optimally today. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want in this game. I'm not going to do that gamer thing where we do what's optimal. And as a gamer, I think it's easy to just say to someone, oh, if you're not having fun, don't do this. Because as a gamer, it's really natural for us to do the optimal thing in games. I'm sure a lot of you can understand that. Maybe if you're a more casual player, you're going to struggle to relate to what I've just said. But especially MMO players, our time's limited. A lot of us, we're like mid-20s or 30s. And with limited time, you want to make as much progress as you can in an MMO. So it's really difficult to break that cycle of just doing something that's not fun, but it's optimal and helps you progress. Well, a few days ago, I did decide to break that cycle. I decided to do it for one day. And in this day, I thought, I'm just going to go around in Archeage and I'm going to learn about the game. I'm going to do a bunch of different things, try and come up with a plan for myself and my character going forward that's sustainable and fun. So the first thing I decided to do was I'm just going to run around and I'm going to look for some land, because obviously re-rolling server, I'd lost the land that I had on my other character. And Belstrom had already been open for maybe a week or 2 at this point. And yeah, land opportunities were quite scarce, but eventually I found that there was land in a zone called Animhar, which has a fuck ton of land, by the way. If you're new to a server and you still haven't built a house, definitely check Animhar. It's basically a zone just for housing, pretty much. But yeah, found a nice little spot for my house and went building a house, built some farms. I had an 8x8 farm at the time. I upgraded that into a 16x16, so I had 2 16x16 farms, which was pretty cool. I didn't know you could upgrade the 8x8, so I took some time learning how to do that. And when I had the 2 farms and my house placed, decided to build the house, and I really enjoyed how every time you would add resources to the house, it would slowly build up. It was a nice bit of attention to detail. You don't just put all the resources on it at once and there we go, it's built, it just pops up. you physically have to carry 3 trade packs from your warehouse on a donkey to your house to fully build it. I thought that was quite fun. It was good from an RPG immersion standpoint. After that, I was quite proud of my house, but I wanted to be even more proud of my house. So I went to Mirage Isle and I started buying like picket fences or shopping for some things to make my house look nice. I bought myself a statue to put inside it. I bought myself a lot of fences to build around my farms. So it looks quite nice. It's quite immersive. Then I was planting cotton, planting trees, and basically being a farmer for a few hours. I had a lot of fun doing that. It wasn't optimal gameplay or anything, but it was really enjoyable. After that, I hadn't gotten around to building a boat yet, so I built a clipper. Once again, like the houses, you need to transport the trade packs back and forth from your warehouse to the clipper, and it's really cool. You basically put a platform out in the ocean, and the boat slowly builds up the more stuff you add to it. There's a lot of attention to detail that's gone into it. I think the boat and the platform go through something like 5 or 6 stages of visual progression until you eventually build the boat, then the platform lowers, the boat lowers itself and slides into the sea, and then you can like jump on it as it's going into the sea with the physics. Really cool experience. Definitely recommend building a clipper. After building the boat, I decided to continue the Blue Salt Brotherhood questline, which I'd currently hit a bit of a bottleneck quest on, where I needed to build a farm cart. I didn't know how to build the farm cart. I thought it was quite complex, but I learned a lot more about the crafting, how to see all of the materials that you can get. So I spent maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes trying to build the farm cart. And once I got that, I was able to continue the quest line and upgrade the farm cart into a farm wagon, which has 5 slots essentially for trade packs. You can put 1 on your back and then 4 in the trade wagon. So once I got the farm wagon, this had then opened up the possibility for me to earn money through trading, which is something I had no idea about. Oh, I also progressed my main quest line to the point where I get the owl mount. For those of you that aren't aware what the owl mount is, you basically get it for getting really far in the green main quests. There is a bit of a bottleneck during the main quest line though, and it's this fucking candle quest in the Zone Halcyona. I don't know why this quest is in the game. It's the most WoW classic type quest that you will see in Archeage Unchained. Basically, there's a candle in a shed, and every 5 minutes, one person can click on the candle and progress with the quest. Both factions need to do this quest. The shed is in a war zone, or an area in which, when it's wartime, people can PvP each other. I'd been stuck on this quest for like 3 or 4 days, because every time I would go to the shed, there were like 6 to 10 people. So it was a massive wait, and nobody was waiting in line or anything. It was just an absolute mess. And with 180 ping, I could not outclick the other players. It was impossible. Thankfully, a viewer from my Twitch stream called Sky came in the shed, killed everyone, and I was able to collect the candle. So I was happy to finally get the owl mount. After that, I was just kind of fucking around for the rest of the day. I went to Mirage Isle. I was looking at all of the cool things you can save up for in this game, and just looking at all of the different things that there are on Mirage Isle in this game made me realise that there's so many things that you can aim for and have as a long-term goal to progress towards as a casual player in Archeage, that it's definitely not a game that you can just enjoy as a PvPer. Mirage Isle is basically an area of the game where you can preview all of the cool things that you can progress towards. It shows you like different things like ships. You can test drive ships, you can test drive cars, you can go inside the massive houses that you can eventually build later on. Just seeing all of these cool things in the game that I can save up for on my character gave me a real feeling of excitement in regards to the future long-term progression of my character. It made me feel as though doing the daily gear related quests isn't all there is to the game. There's a whole different side to Archeage where it's just building, role-playing, making money, and just being a crafter or a trader, or making your own way of making money. I think Archeage is one of those games where if you ask someone what they're looking forward to or what they're working towards, each person's probably going to give you a different answer. If you ask a PvP player, they're probably going to say, I'm looking forward to castle sieges, I'm looking forward to making a reputation with my guild, I'm looking forward to going to Pirate Island and stealing trade packs with my guild, killing players and taking their stuff, I'm looking forward to giant sea battles. You ask someone that's into trading, they're probably looking forward to upgrading to a freighter rather than a farm wagon. You ask someone that's into fishing, they're probably looking forward to beating the fishing achievement, getting themselves their own fishing boat, upgrading their fishing rod to the ultimate rank and making the best money in the game through sports fishing. You ask a role player, what are you looking forward to? They're probably looking forward to having a mansion in the game, owning lots of land, spending hours upon hours meticulously placing furniture in their house to OCD-like standards so they can show it off to their friends. Maybe you ask a PvE player, what are you looking forward to? They're probably looking forward to doing the 10-man Serpantis raid. They're probably looking forward to doing dungeons with their friends. They're looking forward to killing the Kraken. And eventually, they're probably looking forward to killing the Leviathan, although that is going to be a long, long way away because I think that's only ever been killed 5 times in the history of the game or something crazy like that. My point is, Archeage Unchained has a lot of different aspects to the game and a lot of different things to work towards. I think if you're going to enjoy this game or want to try and enjoy this game in the long term, you shouldn't just do 4 hours of daily stuff every single day. It's okay to miss 2, maybe 3 days of dailies. Fuck it, you can probably just take a whole week off from dailies if you've got the resources stockpiled up. You don't just need to progress your gear. You can have other goals other than getting high gear score. The gear score will come. And if you think about it this way, if you don't take the time to learn how to make money in this game through trading or fishing or something like that, then you're going to fall behind in gear regardless because then money is going to be your bottleneck. Yesterday I did something in Archeage that was really, really inefficient, but I thought it was really fun. I basically made an illegal tree farm, and currently the prices of logs and gathering trees, it was pretty bad money. Illegal tree farms are where you plant trees somewhere in the world that you don't own, where you don't own the land, right? So other players can essentially find my tree farm and chop the trees down or uproot them, steal them for themselves. So what you want to do is find a nice hidden location. I spent about 30 or 40 minutes just gliding around mountains in the game to try and find a nice little spot that's outside of the map and kind of hidden. And eventually I found a spot. I planted 100 trees and I then set an alarm clock for my phone to wake up early in the morning. When I woke up, I thought to myself, I wonder if someone's chopped all my trees down and uprooted them. Like, the feeling of not knowing was really exciting. But luckily for me, I went to the spot where my tree farm was, and I timed it perfectly. Like, the second the tree was ready to be cut, I was there chopping it down, and I don't think any other players really saw where it was, so it was a lot of fun. It was terrible money, though. Like, chopping trees right now, it's not worth it for the silver to labor cost, but it was definitely worth it, so I could say I've done an illegal tree farm in Archeage. It was good just to have that experience. And then I found someone else's illegal trees, and I decided to chop those down. Once again, terrible silver per labor, but just the thrill of knowing that I'd chopped someone else's trees down was quite enjoyable, and sometimes you need to have those moments in MMOs. Another recent example, I'm out at sea fishing, trying to level up my fishing skills, so I was being kind of productive, and then a bunch of pirates came along to try and steal our trade packs. And then we've got ocean warfare out at sea. I'm rezzing people because I'm a healer. I'm trying to keep my friends alive. And the whole risk versus reward of being out at sea, potentially losing our fishing trade packs to fight against some pirates. It was a lot of fun. I think the way MMORPGs have been developed over the past few years has led a lot of players to struggle when it comes to sandbox games, because a good sandbox game, to get the most out of it, you need to set your own goals, and the game's not going to tell you what to do to have the most fun, because the most fun comes from player-to-player interaction and the emergent gameplay that comes as a result of that. The most fun you're going to get out of Archeage isn't from doing the daily quest. It's not going to be doing the structured content that the game tells you should be doing. The most fun and memorable experiences you're going to get out of Archeage comes from doing the stuff that's unexpected, doing the unscripted content, fucking around on the ocean with boats, doing illegal farms, trying to get a house in a nice location, talking and role-playing with other players whilst you're waiting for the ferry. It's participating in this kind of content that's essentially taken me from being really burnt out with Archeage Unchained to having probably some of the most fun I've ever had in an MMORPG. I think that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Sorry if it was too rambly, hopefully not. Usually I have some notes when I make these kind of videos, but today I just decided I'm going to turn on OBS and just chat for a bit. So let me know if you want more content like that in the future. It's obviously a lot quicker when it comes to video making. And please feel free to let me know your experiences with Archeage Unchained. Have you gone from feeling burnt out to enjoying the sandbox aspects? Can you relate to anything that I said in this video from your experiences in other MMORPGs? I think there's a lot of room for discussion with this topic. And before I forget, if you haven't played Archeage Unchained already and you're thinking about buying the game, but you don't live in North America or Europe, this is the most ping-dependent MMORPG on the market. And currently there's only servers for NA and Europe. I'm playing from Thailand connecting to Europe. I would not be able to play this game if it wasn't for a piece of software called Exit Lag that essentially reduces my ping from 240 down to 180 ms, which is a big difference. Ping boosters are not VPNs, they're routing software. They essentially improve your connection by sending your game data through the optimal route it takes to get to the game server, if that makes sense. For anyone playing an MMORPG that's got a server in a different region other than the one they're living in, I highly suggest you check out Exit Lag, as it's going to provide noticeable increases to your performance and you're probably going to result in better DPS. Exit Lag comes with a 3-day free trial. You don't need to put in any credit card information to use this free trial, and if you do decide to subscribe, by default it doesn't have reoccurring payments enabled. That's something that you have to enable. For 20% off, type in TheLazyPeon at the checkout and click my referral link in the description below. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you again really soon.